Hello there and welcome back to another video. I hope you're doing well, hope your week is starting off quite well, and I hope as always that you are being safe, you are staying well and doing the very best that you can in the current lockdown situation that we're in. Obviously, because us as the general public, we are generally abiding by these rules. Now obviously you can probably tell what this type of video is going to be about and why it's a little bit, not just a little bit infuriating, but why, you know, what could be the bigger implications of these guys flouting the lockdown guidelines. And I'm aware that this isn't just happening in our country, I'm aware that this is happening in other countries as well, but because this is closer to home, obviously being in a country that I live in, and the things that could happen because of it, they're a bit more high, they're much more high profile than I'll ever be, definitely. They carry a lot more of a public presence. For some reason they seem to believe that they are invincible or invisible to the public eye, to anyone that sees them, or anyone that's got, you know, a camera phone or anything like that, which pretty much everybody has a camera phone now, to be able to think, oh, they're never going to take a picture of me out in public. I mean, that's ridiculous. These people are public stars. Regardless of what people think of them, they are huge stars in the UK. People recognise them like that, and you just cannot risk breaking lockdown regulations here. Now, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what I do since I was furloughed from my work and obviously having to abide by the lockdown rules. What I do every single week, I leave the house once a week to go and do my weekly shop, and that's it. Now people might say, well, what about your 1 hour's worth of exercise? I've got a cross trainer at home, and I have a couple of weights here and there as well. If I want to do my exercise, I can do my exercise in literally the comfort of my own living room if I wanted to, and sometimes do, sometimes I don't. That's up to me. That depends on what I'm doing, what I feel like doing. I don't go out and meet friends. I don't go out and I don't go see my parents or anything like that. People don't come to my house. People don't come and stand at the end of my driveway or at the end of like my garden gate or anything like that. People don't come if they want to drop something off. We had some food delivered last night, and literally all it was 3 knocks at the door. They leave it on your doorstep. They went to the end of the gate, open the door. Yep, okay, that's cool. Thank you very much. Take it inside. That's it. That is pretty much the most contact that we've had with anybody, aside from doing my half an hour weekly shop, which is pretty much all it is. I know a lot of people are doing the same. I know a lot of people that are climbing the walls at the moment. They're in lockdown, maybe they've got kids and stuff like that as well, and I can't imagine what that is like to deal with the whole homeschooling stuff, trying to, you know, keep them occupied, and trying to get them to, depending on what age they are as well, and what they're used to doing, getting them used to, you can't just go outside, you know, and the amount of kids that I see just sometimes outside here that are just like meeting up and like, what are you doing? And yeah, you're all stood apart, you stood 2 meters apart and stuff like that. That's not part of the guidelines. It's not just so you can just stand 2 meters apart but still go and hang out. That's not what it's about, right? And it shouldn't happen. If more people obviously followed the guidelines that we have, it's difficult for some people. I will be totally honest, it's not difficult for me. When I was still working, I worked from 12 till about 9 o'clock at night, so it's a late shift anyway. I have to set off for work at 11 o'clock. 12 o'clock comes, I start work because we've got to travel out to where we go to, finish work at 8:15, and then coming back home, it's travelling back, getting dropped off by the work vehicle, get home at 9 o'clock. So from 11 till 9, I'm occupied. Once I've done my shifts at work and stuff like that, and it obviously being late at night or also before work, I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out. I don't personally want to go out and do stuff or anything like that. Maybe at a weekend, maybe, but very rarely. This doesn't really affect me a great deal, and I'll hold my hands up to that. Not everyone's like that. People like to go out, do the nights out, and do everything like this. You know, whatever you want to do, meeting up with friends and stuff like that. But like my friends group, we're all busy at different times, so we just kind of got used to the fact that, you know what, we're going to be inside a lot. That's fine. And then lockdown happened, and it's just like not a great deal's changed for me. A great deal has changed for all of these footballers, though. Now we move on to the footballers that have been breaking the lockdown. rules and everything like that that the government have set out, and whether we agree with them or not, or whether we want to abide by them or not, it's really besides the point. The fact is that if we abide by these rules, like quicker and much more often, and more people do it, then you've got more of a likelihood of the lockdown being lifted sooner rather than later. What these footballers are doing, and as I'm saying from before, much more high profile than me, much more high profile than the people that live around me and people that are around the country that are meeting up in parks and all this sort of lot. Yep, there's a lot of people doing it. But once a footballer does it and they're flouting the rules and stuff like that, like I think Lacazette brought someone around to valet his car. Where are you going? You're not going anywhere right now. I don't understand it. Like, it's quite a little bit, it's just weird. I think Pepe was filmed playing football with friends. Xhaka and Louise met up in a park in Southgate, which must be in London. Tottenham players, obviously, Aurier and Sissoko, they were training together. Mourinho had also set out a training day or something like that for, what was it, Ndombele or something like that. I think it might actually say down here. Yeah, for a one-on-one training session. He apologised, saying that his actions were not in line with government protocol. And yet such things like this are still happening. Like Rooney as well was apparently one. So he's told off by police for breaking the lockdown rules by meeting fellow player Kyle Walker. Now, what the thing is with that is that apparently Rooney and Kyle Walker are neighbours, but still you're not meant to be interacting at close quarters with people that aren't from your household. And if you are leaving the house to go do your exercise, your 1 hour exercise or something like that, whatever it is, it's only meant to be you and one other person from your household. So if there's only 2 of you that live together, great, you can go out together if you want to. But if there's like 4 of you, then 2 of you, I assume, have to go out together. The other 2 could also go out together, but you as a 4 cannot go out together. That is how I understand it. That is how I have been told it as well. Obviously, then the Kyle Walker one, I'll come on to that in a little bit as well. But Jesus Christ, it literally epitomises, why people and the public have called footballers, I don't like saying it, but calling footballers stupid. They don't help themselves by doing things like this. If you just cannot abide by a set of rules for a certain amount of time, you will be called stupid, and people will not be wrong in calling you stupid. That's just how it is. Obviously, Jack Grealish. Now, I think Jack Grealish, from what I understand, didn't probably read it before, but I think he'd gotten himself a little bit, off his head or whatever, and crashed into a couple of parked cars. Stationary cars were left with minor damage. Police said afterwards the driver left his details with a member of the public, but then left the scene. A damaged Range Rover. He just wanted to do a quick video, which is this one. I'm not going to play it because it's just, I can't take that accent. It's a tough time for everyone being locked indoors for so long, and I obviously just got a call off a friend asking to go around to his, and I think it was a Fulham player was holding a house party or something, which is what he drove to. People holding house parties, what are you doing? Why? You might be lonely. You might be used to integrating yourself with your friends all the time, but just do yourselves a favour and listen for once to follow the rules. Okay, if you have parties every weekend, for a little bit now, you won't be able to have parties every weekend. But if you listen to the rules, you'll be able to have a party on a weekend sooner rather than later. It's just stupid, man. Honestly. Kyle Walker's being investigated over a lockdown breach. This isn't just a lockdown breach of normal things. He broke lockdown rules by hosting a party involving 2 sex workers. Now, you want to go out and you want to go do stuff with sex workers, you go do what you want. You go fulfill your life however you want. But again, it's breaking the rules, man. It is absolutely breaking the rules. You just cannot do it. I want to take this opportunity to issue a public apology for the choices I made last week, which have resulted in a story today about my private life in a tabloid newspaper. That is irrelevant. Of course, if you do something like this, you're going to get your private life out there a little bit. You can't avoid it. You cannot avoid it, and you brought it on yourself. Now, normally when people turn around and say stuff about their private life and wanting to be private, totally respect it. Absolutely respect it. And if everybody wants to keep their private lives private, Totally respect it. I personally would never ever pry. But when you go and do stupid stuff like this, it's going to get highlighted massively. Especially someone like Kyle Walker, plays for Man City, earns a hell of a lot of money. You're in the public eye. You go and do this. You go and make what is a mockery of lockdown rules. You are mocking them to the nth degree. Meaning, like, you're not just going out meeting friends. You're not just going, like, hanging out over your fence with Wayne Rooney. You are bringing people to your house to basically do nice stuff to you that you obviously probably miss. Maybe a little bit of that interaction, but you can't control yourself in lockdown. You've clearly stated you cannot control yourself. You had to break them to get some sex workers around your house to do a bit of business for you. You're a grown adult man. You're 29 years old. You're 3 years younger than I am, but you're an adult. You're in the public eye. You know what you're doing. Jesus Christ. And then obviously the latest one was Everton's Keane, or Moise Keane. I don't actually know how you say his first name. He apparently filmed himself at a party in his apartment. He's 20 years old, right? Let's just get this one out of the way. He's 20 years old. So he filmed himself at a party in his apartment. Apparently it was like Snapchat sort of thing, private Snapchat or something, which when something like this happens, you start to realise who your friends are on your private Snapchat. You probably close that account, mate. Yeah. And I think it was... I don't know if it was a similar sort of situation with Kyle Walker where he brought some sex workers around or something like that, or whether he'd brought around, I think someone had said something like Snapchat models or something like that. And I was like, didn't know that was a thing, but fair play. Everton have made a statement. I don't think Keane himself has made a statement. He hasn't really said anything about it. Apparently, Everton are going to fine the player about £100,000 or something like that, which is about 2 weeks' wages, which for him, for someone who's played 26 times in the Premier League and scored 1 goal, that's probably that's not even a drop in the water. 100 grand for what he's done. He's 20 years old, right? He hasn't really got anyone of leadership at Everton, probably apart from Ancelotti, who is a good leader as a manager, but he can't do everything for everyone. He's 20 years old. He filmed himself. He thought it was a good idea to film himself having a party in his own apartment over what could have been a private Snapchat or a private WhatsApp which would have involved maybe his close friends or people that are like friends of his. So obviously he's thought, I'll put this on. People won't leak it. Probably not realizing that maybe you've got that one friend who's a bit of a dickhead, right? And has exposed you for what you're doing. But really what that friend is doing is actually kind of doing you a favour as well. He's basically saying to you, I've leaked this, stop being an idiot, don't break the rules so often, and things won't get made public. How about that? How about all of the thing that annoys me so much about all of these footballers that are flouting the rules, and it's not just footballers, I know that, but because I talk about football a lot on this channel, that's why I'm zoning in on the footballers. It annoys me so much because you can have 3,000 people meeting up in a park in London, right, and chilling out, doing all that sort of business, whatever they're doing, barbecues, all this lot. People in your own neighbourhood, wherever you live, around the country, they can all be meeting up, doing barbecues, having a couple of beers in each other's gardens and stuff like that. It is unprecedented how high profile a footballer is in any country, especially any country that has a top league. Italy, Spain, France, England, Germany, Netherlands as well. Anywhere that's got like a top league that has, major league stars in it and everything like that as well. And you've got to also say people like Moise Keane, who isn't really a major league star, honestly, since he's come to Everton and come to the Premier League. He's not set the world alight. He's not, he's not come out and he's not scored 25 goals in 26 games. He scored 1 goal in 26 games. He gets dropped regularly by Everton. And it's just, they don't seem to realise or appreciate the spotlight that's on them at all times, so that when a positive thing happens, then they will get highlighted for it. But when a negative thing happens, spotlights everywhere. Spotlights are on you all the time. And you cannot do things like this and expect to get away with it. You just can't. The rules are the same for everybody, but the way people get highlighted is different. And obviously, if more footballers keep doing this, that will highlight more to the public that maybe, oh, well, if a footballer can do it, then I can do it. rules and stuff like that will keep getting broken. Lockdowns will keep getting extended. People will get frustrated, more frustrated. They've just got to start listening. Use this just a little bit up here. I know people say that footballers don't have brains, but that's not true. There are a lot of footballers that are intelligent, a lot of footballers that do have a lot in between their ears. There's just some that are either young. I can't excuse the likes of Rooney and Kyle Walker for being young, because they're not. One's in his 30s, one's nearly 30. Jack Grealish, he's still a young lad, like 24 or something like that, but still, should know. He's like the icon, the current icon of his club at Aston Villa. He should know. Arsenal players should know. They've just got to get it through their heads that if they listen a little bit more, they'll have a bit more of a positive impact on the general public as well. They're not breaking the rules. You don't break the rules either. We don't break the rules. We'll get ourselves out of lockdown and get ourselves, hopefully, somehow, a little bit away from this virus. That would be really nice. I don't care about having a barbecue in my garden. I don't care about going for beers and stuff like that with my friends. I want us all to be safe. I want us all to be well. I want us all to be alive. That's what I want more than anything in the world. We're not going to get much more progress if people keep taking influence from footballers and start breaking the rules just because these guys are having house parties and stuff like that, man. I don't know. It annoys me. Does it annoy you? How are you feeling at the moment on this Monday? Hope you're doing very well. I hope you're keeping well as well. I just hope that you're doing the very best that you can to keep yourselves occupied as well. Let me know what you think in the comments below. How do you think that this is all going to go down? Like, do you think there's going to be more people that are going to be breaking rules and stuff like that? I certainly hope not. But listen, let me know what you think in the comments below. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you once again, and I'll catch you later.